Have you ever wondered, what happens after our last breath? This is a question that has puzzled humanity for thousands of years. Some believe death marks the end state of non-existence. Others think it's a gateway to heaven or hell, where the soul is judged. But in Tibetan Buddhism, death is neither a simple end nor a beginning. It is a profound transitional journey. In Tibetan culture, the Bardo Thodol, or Tibetan Book of the Dead, is regarded as a detailed guide to navigating the intermediate state between life and death. This book isn't just for those nearing the end of life, it's also for the living, offering insights into understanding the true nature of the self. Today, I invite you to delve into this mystical world. Through the story of Padmasambhava, the great spiritual teacher who illuminated the Tibetan Book of the Dead, we will explore the deeper meaning of death and how to live a life of mindfulness. Padmasambhava in 8th century Tibet. 1.1 The context of 8th century Tibet. In the 8th century, Tibet was a wild yet vibrant land. Its people primarily followed the Bon tradition, an ancient belief system centered on shamanic rituals, nature worship, and local deities. Their spiritual lives were deeply influenced by primal magic and indigenous beliefs. However, these beliefs also brought division and conflict among tribes. Recognizing that only spiritual unity could bring peace to Tibet, King Trisong Detsen, a young and visionary ruler, decided to bring Buddhism, a flourishing religion in India, to his kingdom. The life of Padmasambhava. Padmasambhava, or Guru Rinpoche, was born in a land now part of India. From a young age, he exhibited extraordinary wisdom and spiritual abilities. Legend has it that he was born from a lotus flower, destined to guide people toward enlightenment. Throughout his life, Padmasambhava underwent many trials, from confronting dark forces to resolving conflicts between religions. His fame spread far and wide, eventually catching the attention of King Trisong Detsen. A mission to Tibet. When invited to Tibet, Padmasambhava knew this journey would be more than a physical one. It was a mission fraught with spiritual and cultural challenges. The path to Tibet was not only geographically perilous, but also demanded immense spiritual resilience. The journey to Tibet. Tibet was a majestic yet harsh land with snow-capped mountains stretching endlessly, testing the will of any traveler. Padmasambhava embarked on his journey from India, crossing the Himalayas with unwavering determination. He faced biting cold winds, treacherous cliffs, and deep ravines. Yet, with compassion and steadfastness, Padmasambhava viewed these obstacles as opportunities to strengthen his spirit and inner power. Meditating in the desolate mountains, he felt deeply connected to the universe and the awe-inspiring nature surrounding him. Every mountain peak and flowing stream seemed to impart lessons in patience and harmony. These trials didn't discourage him. They reinforced his faith in his sacred mission. Facing the Bon shamans. Upon reaching Tibet, Padmasambhava encountered resistance, not only from nature, but also from the Bon shamans, who were integral to the local belief system. They perceived his arrival as a threat to their long-standing traditions. The Bon rituals, rooted in reverence for natural spirits, seemed incompatible with the spread of Buddhism. However, Padmasambhava didn't come to impose his beliefs. With compassion and wisdom, he sought harmony between the traditions. He studied Bon practices and engaged in dialogues with the shamans, listening to their concerns and integrating compatible elements from both systems. Through humility and wisdom, Padmasambhava explained that Buddhism was not here to destroy, but to complement their beliefs, offering insights into suffering and liberation. Over time, his sincerity and compassion softened the Bon shamans, who came to see him not as a conqueror, but as a bringer of light and hope. Spiritual challenges. Beyond human opposition, Padmasambhava had to overcome spiritual obstacles that Tibet posed. According to legend, Tibet was home to numerous supernatural forces, including wrathful spirits and deities obstructing the spread of Buddhism. Padmasambhava performed sacred rituals, using his spiritual energy and wisdom to transform these forces. One famous tale recounts how he subdued fierce spirits with compassion and meditative power. Instead of destroying them, he helped them understand the impermanence of existence, guiding them toward liberation. This earned him the title Guru Rinpoche, an enlightened master capable of transforming suffering into peace, planting the seeds of Buddhism. After overcoming these challenges, Padmasambhava began to establish Buddhism in Tibet. He helped construct the Samye Monastery, Tibet's first Buddhist monastery, which became a symbol of harmony between Buddhism and indigenous beliefs. Padmasambhava also compiled important teachings, making Buddhist principles accessible to the Tibetan people. He not only taught meditation and philosophy, but also encouraged practical compassion and wisdom in daily life. He believed that societal harmony could only emerge when individuals attained personal enlightenment. The legacy of Padmasambhava. Padmasambhava's journey was not just a story of perseverance and wisdom, but a lesson in harmony and compassion. Tibet today retains the values he imparted, standing as one of the world's most significant centers of Buddhism. His legacy lives on not only through monasteries, but also in the hearts and minds of millions. Padmasambhava demonstrated that no matter the challenges, compassion and wisdom can prevail. His journey to Tibet was more than a geographical conquest. It was a spiritual journey, bringing the light of Dharma to a new land and leaving an indelible mark on humanity's history. Samye Monastery, a symbol of compassion. The significance of Samye Monastery. Samye Monastery, known as the first Buddhist temple in Tibet, is more than an architectural marvel. It is a living symbol of the spread of Buddhism. Built in the 8th century under the patronage of King Trisong Detsen and the guidance of Padmasambhava, Samye embodies profound spiritual and cultural significance. The monastery's architecture reflects the Buddhist philosophy of harmony between the universe and humanity, spirit and matter. At its center is Mount Meru, representing the cosmic axis and the journey toward enlightenment. Surrounding it are structures symbolizing continents and subcontinents according to Buddhist cosmology. Architecture as a representation of Buddhist philosophy. The centerpiece of the Samye Monastery is an image of Mount Meru, considered the axis of the universe in Buddhist philosophy. Mount Meru symbolizes not only stability and balance, but also the journey toward enlightenment, a path where humans transcend material limitations to reach the pinnacle of wisdom and liberation. Surrounding this center are auxiliary structures representing the 4 continents and 8 subcontinents of the Buddhist cosmology. Every architectural detail of the monastery holds symbolic meaning. For example, its tiered levels resemble steps that signify the progression from the lower stages of practice to ultimate enlightenment. The walls are adorned with Buddhist murals depicting the life of the Buddha, the Bodhisattvas, and essential teachings. These paintings serve not only as decorations, but also as visual educational tools, helping people better understand the teachings of Buddhism. Bridging Buddhism and indigenous beliefs. Samye Monastery also plays a vital role in harmonizing Buddhism and the Bon tradition, Tibet's indigenous religion. When Buddhism first entered Tibet, it faced resistance from Bon followers who feared it would erode their cultural traditions. Padmasambhava used Samye Monastery as a symbol of integration. The monastery not only taught Buddhist doctrines, but also incorporated Bon elements, such as the worship of natural spirits and traditional rituals. This created a harmonious spiritual space where both religions could coexist and thrive. Through Samye, Padmasambhava demonstrated that harmony between beliefs is not only possible, but also beneficial for society. A center for scholarship and spirituality. Beyond being an architectural marvel and cultural symbol, Samye Monastery became Tibet's foremost center for learning and spirituality. It was the first institution to offer systematic courses on Buddhist philosophy, meditation, and spiritual disciplines. Monks from across Tibet and neighboring regions gathered here to share knowledge and refine their practice. The establishment of Samye marked a turning point in Tibetan education. Previously, learning occurred in small communities or orally. Samye introduced a formal system for teaching Buddhist scriptures, such as the Prajnaparamita perfection of wisdom and the Vinaya monastic discipline, laying the groundwork for the robust development of Tibetan Buddhism. A hub of cultural preservation and transformation. Situated in a unique position, Samye Monastery plays an important role in preserving and disseminating Tibetan culture. Its paintings, sculptures, and architecture not only showcase artistic talent, but also document the stories, beliefs, and philosophies of the Tibetan people. The monastery is a living cultural repository where the past, present, and future converge. Samye is also the site of numerous important festivals, attracting thousands of devotees and visitors from around the world. These festivals not only provide a platform for expressing devotion, but also create opportunities for communities to bond, share faith, and hope. Through these events, Tibetan cultural and spiritual values are passed down from one generation to the next, ensuring their continuity. A symbol of resilience. More than 1,200 years have passed since Samye Monastery was built, yet its significance remains undiminished. Despite facing historical upheavals from invasions to political and social changes, the monastery stands as a testament to resilience and steadfastness. For Tibetans, Samye is not merely a spiritual site, but also a symbol of hope, faith, and communal strength. An international legacy. Samye Monastery's influence extends far beyond Tibet. Scholars, researchers, and practitioners from around the world have come to study its philosophy, architecture, and art. It has become a bridge connecting Tibet to the world, spreading the values of Buddhism and Tibetan culture to humanity. Samye Monastery is not just an extraordinary architectural site, but also a living symbol of the spread of Buddhist teachings, the harmony between beliefs, and the enduring strength of Tibetan culture. From its serene location amid majestic mountains, Samye has become an inspiration and a source of pride, not only for Tibetans, but for humanity as a whole. Challenges from divine forces. When construction began, local deities expressed their displeasure. Every night, the structures built during the day were destroyed. Walls collapsed, pillars were broken, and progress came to a halt. The king, deeply concerned, sought the help of Padmasambhava. Instead of using force to suppress these deities, Padmasambhava chose dialogue, winning over the gods. In a meditation ceremony lasting several days, Padmasambhava invited the deities to appear. Initially, they were fierce and threatening, but with unwavering compassion, he smiled and said, "I am not here to destroy you, but to invite you on a higher journey. Become protectors of the Dharma." His words deeply moved the deities. After extensive dialogue, they agreed to abandon their resistance and became guardians of Samye Monastery, completion of the monastery. Once the deities were pacified, construction progressed swiftly. When completed, the monastery became a center for academic and spiritual excellence, offering teachings on Buddhist philosophy and meditation practices. The Tibetan Book of the Dead, a map of the spirit. The core teachings of the Tibetan Book of the Dead. The Tibetan Book of the Dead is a detailed guide to the intermediate states Bardo, including Chikai Bardo, the state immediately after death, where the soul encounters the primordial light. Kanyid Bardo, the state of facing symbolic images from the mind, Sidpa Bardo, the state of rebirth, where the soul chooses its next life. Bardo states keys to deciphering life after death. Chikai Bardo, the moment of death. Chikai Bardo, or the stage of the clear light, is the first state that consciousness enters after death. In the philosophy of the Tibetan Book of the Dead Bardo Thodol, this is the most crucial moment, where the consciousness has the opportunity to recognize its truest essence. Unlike the haziness of other states, Chikai Bardo is a direct encounter with the primordial light, a pure light that emanates not from any external source, but from the absolute nature of the mind itself. The clear light, the final door to liberation. The clear light in Chikai Bardo is described as radiant, impartial, and free of any oppositions such as good and evil, right and wrong. It represents the absolute reality, the essence of all beings, whether they recognize it or not. According to the Tibetan Book of the Dead, this is the final chance for the consciousness to merge with its egoless nature and achieve nirvana, complete liberation from the cycle of life and death. However, facing this light is not easy. For those unprepared spiritually, the brilliance of the light can be intimidating. Fear, accumulated life experiences, and attachment to the material world may cause confusion and lead to missing the opportunity to recognize one's true nature. Preparation for Chikai Bardo. Chikai Bardo is not a state entirely separate from life. In fact, life itself is the training ground for this critical moment. Meditation, cultivating compassion, and understanding impermanence are vital practices to prepare the mind for the encounter with the clear light. Psychological resistance to the light. According to the Tibetan Book of the Dead, the main reason many people fail to recognize the clear light is the natural resistance of the human psyche. In life, we are conditioned to evaluate everything based on experience and dualistic concepts, good and bad, right and wrong. These mental constructs act as a veil, preventing us from seeing the ultimate truth. For example, a person who clings to wealth, fame, or status during their life may struggle when faced with a light devoid of any notions of power or possession. The overwhelming brilliance of this light shakes the very foundations of their beliefs, causing them to fear and retreat instead of embracing it. Lessons from spiritual masters. Throughout history, many spiritual masters have shared inspiring stories of how they approached Chikai Bardo. One well-known tale is about Zen Master Thich Than Tu. As he approached death, he remained remarkably calm and serene. When asked by his disciples, "Aren't you afraid?" he simply smiled and replied, "The mind is prepared. There is nothing to fear." This illustrates that preparing for death is not something to be left until the end of life. It is a lifelong journey where each moment offers an opportunity to let go of attachments, recognize the selfless nature of existence, and accept impermanence. The role of meditation in facing the light. Meditation is a powerful tool to prepare for Chikai Bardo. Through meditation, the mind is trained to recognize its true nature without being distracted by concepts or illusions. Meditation on light. One common meditation practice involves visualizing a radiant light and imagining it emerging from within oneself. This is not merely an act of imagination, but a way to train the mind to face the clear light of Chikai Bardo. Benefits of meditation in daily life. It calms the mind and reduces stress. AT helps identify and let go of negative illusions and emotions. AT enhances focus and mindfulness. AT prepares the mind to encounter the clear light with tranquility. Connecting with nirvana through Chikai Bardo. Chikai Bardo is not merely a post-death state, but also a gateway to nirvana, the ultimate liberation from suffering and rebirth. However, to cross this gateway, the mind must be thoroughly prepared. Without preparation, the mind is easily drawn into other ambiguous states, influenced by accumulated karma. Kangyid Bardo, the state of visions and illusions. In Tibetan philosophy, Bardo refers to the intermediate state between death and rebirth, divided into 6 primary stages. One of these is Kangyid Bardo, where the consciousness confronts itself through symbolic visions and illusions. In this stage, peaceful deities representing compassion and wisdom appear as reflections of the positive aspects of one's mind. Conversely, wrathful deities embody fears, negative emotions, and past mistakes. Recognizing their illusory nature leads to liberation, while succumbing to fear and attachment traps the soul in cycles of suffering. Sidpa Bardo, the stage of rebirth. Sidpa Bardo is the final stage in the cycle of 6 bardos, where the soul prepares to enter the next life. Driven by karma from past lives, the soul chooses a new body to continue its journey in samsara. This stage is deeply emotional and symbolic, representing both the transition of a soul and the opportunity to reshape one's life through karma and awareness. During Sidpa Bardo, the soul encounters symbolic images of potential parents, drawn by karma and inner desires. This process is not purely voluntary, but is shaped by past actions, cravings, and karmic bonds. Lessons from Sidpa Bardo. Sidpa Bardo highlights the importance of living a mindful life. Every action, thought, and emotion leaves a karmic imprint, influencing the cycle of rebirth. By understanding Sidpa Bardo, one can approach life with greater awareness and intention, preparing for spiritual liberation. The Tibetan Book of the Dead Uniting Life and Death. The Tibetan Book of the Dead Bardo Thodol serves as a profound guide not only for the dead, but also for the living. Its teachings remind us that death is not the end, but a transition, a chance to achieve enlightenment and break free from the illusions and attachments of the material world. Death as a teacher. The Tibetan Book of the Dead emphasizes that death is a great teacher, revealing the true value of life. When we understand the impermanence of all things and the inevitability of death, we can embrace each moment, relationship, and breath with gratitude. Life as a spiritual journey. Life is not merely a pursuit of survival or success, but a journey to discover the true nature of oneself and the universe. Each day offers an opportunity to learn, practice compassion, and prepare for the ultimate transition. The teachings of the Tibetan Book of the Dead urge us to live consciously, embrace impermanence, and cultivate compassion. By doing so, we prepare ourselves not only for the moment of death, but for a life of greater depth, peace, and purpose. Integrating lessons from the Tibetan Book of the Dead into daily life. The Tibetan Book of the Dead is not merely a guide for souls in transition after death, but a valuable source of wisdom for the living. Its teachings encourage us to live mindfully, embrace impermanence, and cultivate compassion. Applying these lessons in daily life can help us navigate challenges, cope with loss, and find profound peace within. Meditation, finding calm and recognizing the true nature of the mind. Meditation is one of the most essential practices inspired by the Tibetan Book of the Dead. By dedicating time each day to sit in stillness and observe the mind, we can begin to identify the thoughts, emotions, and illusions that often dominate our experience. Meditation not only calms the mind, but also allows us to see the impermanent nature of all phenomena. How to practice daily meditation. Choose a quiet space. Find a place where you can sit comfortably without interruptions. Set a fixed time. Dedicate at least 10-15 minutes daily, or longer if possible, to meditation. Focus on the breath. Begin by observing your in-breath and out-breath to anchor your awareness. Observe the mind. Allow thoughts to arise without judgment or attachment. Simply observe them like a passing cloud. End with gratitude. Conclude your session by acknowledging the peace and clarity gained during practice. Benefits of meditation. Reduces stress and anxiety helps recognize and release negative illusions and emotions, enhances focus, and mindfulness prepares the mind for a peaceful encounter with the unknown. Embracing impermanence, learning to let go. One of the core lessons of the Tibetan Book of the Dead is the impermanence of all things. We often cling to what we hold dear: possessions, status, relationships, forgetting that nothing is permanent. Recognizing impermanence is not meant to be frightening, but rather a reminder to cherish the present and learn to let go. How to embrace impermanence. Observe change around you. Notice how everything from the weather to emotions constantly shifts. Let go of expectations. Avoid rigidly expecting things to unfold in specific ways. Practice gratitude. Appreciate what you have now, rather than fearing future loss. Accept difficulties. When faced with hardship, remember that it is a temporary state. Benefits of embracing impermanence. Reduces feelings of loss and suffering during change, encourages living fully in the present moment, strengthens resilience in facing life's challenges. Cultivating compassion, treating yourself and others with kindness. Compassion lies at the heart of the Tibetan Book of the Dead. Being kind to ourselves and others not only fosters inner peace, but also generates positive karma, which prepares us for the journey beyond this life. Compassion is more than just an emotion, it is an actionable practice. How to practice compassion. Start with yourself. Learn to forgive your mistakes and care for your mental and physical well-being. Perform small acts of kindness, a smile, an encouraging word, or helping someone in need are simple ways to show compassion. Empathize with others. Try to understand others' feelings and circumstances from their perspective. Meditate on loving kindness. Spend time sending good wishes to yourself, your loved ones, and even those you do not know. Benefits of compassion. Builds stronger, more meaningful relationships, reduces anger, envy, and fear, creates a life filled with purpose and love. The final lesson: live fully to let go without fear. The Tibetan Book of the Dead's most powerful message is that death need not be feared if we learn to live fully. By living with awareness, gratitude, and mindfulness, we can better prepare for life's ultimate transition. How to live fully. Be present. Avoid dwelling on the past or worrying about the future. Cherish the present moment. Learn from challenges. Treat obstacles and pain as opportunities for growth. Find meaning in every action. Engage in activities with passion and purpose. Practice letting go. Release unnecessary burdens, toxic relationships, or unrealistic expectations. Benefits of living fully. Brings peace and happiness to everyday life, prepares the mind and spirit for death, provides freedom from the attachments of the material world. Bringing these lessons into everyday life. Applying the lessons of the Tibetan Book of the Dead does not require a complete overhaul of one's life, but can begin with small, meaningful changes. Start by dedicating time to daily meditation, embracing impermanence, and practicing compassion through small acts. Over time, you will notice life becoming lighter, deeper, and more fulfilling, with death no longer something to be feared. The Tibetan Book of the Dead teaches that life and death are two sides of the same coin. While we cannot change the fact that death will come, we can transform how we live to prepare for it. Life is not about accumulating or clinging, but about experiencing, learning, and letting go. By understanding that everything in this world is temporary, we can discover true freedom and peace. The journey of the Tibetan Book of the Dead reminds us, every moment is an opportunity for enlightenment. Are you ready to live fully and prepare for life's ultimate journey? Feel free to share your thoughts on this profound topic in the comments section, and don't forget to follow the channel to explore life's greatest mysteries together.